Hello, and thank you so much for joining me this morning. This morning, I want to talk to you about something that's very dear to my heart, which is goal setting. Now, why is goal setting so important? Goal setting is very important for your life because if you don't have goals, then you're just floating along in your life. You don't really have direction. You're kind of like a leaf in the wind. And that's not the way we truly want to be living our lives, right? So, goal setting is a way to clearly define what your heart desires in your life. Now, they could be smaller goals, they could be larger goals, and ideally, they should be both. So, I want to share something that I do on a daily basis, which is journaling and keeping my goals right here in my dream book. So, basically, I love to journal. Every single day I do it. It helps me work through anything that I'm thinking about, anything that I'm dreaming about. It really keeps my focus on the positive and on moving forward in my personal life. So I want to encourage you to find an old notebook around the house, or maybe go out and purchase one if you want a special one. This was a gift from one of my best friends who's always so wonderfully organized. She sent this to me several years ago. I still have it. But here's some of the things that you want to look at, some of the areas where you want to set goals in your life. So when you think about, for example, your finances. So what are your goals in your financial life? Do you have goals, or are you working paycheck to paycheck and trying to get through the month? Now, that's a situation for a lot of us, so there's nothing necessarily wrong with that, but use your mind and create goals for yourself. So if you're an entrepreneur like me, you want to, let's say, have enough income so that all of your bills are paid and you're putting into your savings or your 401k or your retirement plan if you're a little bit older, right? So you want to make sure that you're actually planning for those things. Take some time, even 5 minutes, as you're writing these things down in your dream book, your visualization book, and think about, what do I really want in this area? Now, challenge yourself just a little bit. If you say, by next year, I want to be making $1 million, that might be just a little bit too big of a leap for your subconscious mind, because then we have all of these blocks that are going to come up. But, okay? Because that's the way our subconscious mind works, right? So we have to clear those types of core beliefs about money. But at the same time, it is really important to have those goals, things that you can work forward to on a daily basis. Now, your goals should always be in front of you. That's why you need to open your book, or you need to open your not really open, but if you do a vision board, I'm a very big advocate of doing vision boards, digital vision boards on your phone. Those are my favorite. I absolutely love those. But do those. Pictures of things that represent what you love in life. And I do have a link for how to do a vision board on my site, and I'll link it below for you so you can, click on that. It's very easy to read, and, then you get to get crafty, or if you're more digital like me, on your phone. So now, after finances, let's look at relationships. How are your relationships in your life? How is your primary relationship? If you have a primary relationship, how is that going? And then not only how is it going, but how do you want it to improve? How do you want your relationship to improve with your children, if you have children, with your parents, with your close friends? Or do you want more friends, or do you want to get closer to the people that are already in your life? So think about these things, because what I want is going to be very independent to me, particular to me, and what you want is going to be yours. So everyone has a different idea of what their ideal is, and you have to figure that out for yourself. What do you really want? That's the big question, right? Now, how about work goals and career goals? So whether you're working in a job or you have a particular career, a business that you're involved in, or whatever that is. Now, what are those goals? So even in our work life, we need to have personal goals for our work life. Are you doing what you love? Are you doing what you're passionate about? And if not, what are the reasons for that? And how can you eventually get to where you want to be? So when we think about a goal, it's great to have, more, my friend, LauretteLynn.com, my best friend, we often talk about like stretchy goals. Okay. So she actually mentioned this to me this morning, which I thought was very inspirational, that, we want to have goals that stretch us a little bit beyond our comfort zone, because those are important, right? It's important to stretch ourselves. We want to have goals that feel accomplishable. So tiny goals, small goals, goals that we know it'll take a little bit of effort, but not too much effort, right? And then we want to have goals that are going to stretch us a little bit as people. That when we achieve that goal, we're going to feel such a level of satisfaction because it did stretch us and it did make us grow. So think about your work goals. What is it that you want to be doing in 5 years in your job or in your career? Where do you see yourself in 5 years from now? That's a very pertinent question to ask, and something that we do need to diligently ask ourselves on a regular basis and not get complacent with life. Next, the area of health. What is it that you want to see in your health? Do you want to improve your health? Do you want to eat better? Do you want to exercise on a regular basis? What is it that you want to do? Now, the thing about this that kind of often comes into play, people talk about, you have your New Year's resolution and all that, and then you slack and whatever. When something is a priority to you, you make it a priority. So the things that are important to you, make those things a priority. Your health is a priority. And as we get older, I'm definitely more and more conscious of this, how my eating habits, and if I'm exercising or if I'm not exercising, that really comes into play, and you feel it so much more as you get older. So make sure that you're taking care, that you're nourishing your body temple, because you are in charge of it. You are responsible for this gift that God gave each and every one of us. So make sure that you're nourishing it properly and that you're exercising, you're moving, because as they say, if you don't use it, you're going to lose it. So let's use our bodies to make sure that they're in optimal health and they're in the best shape that we can possibly be. Make it a priority just to move 30 minutes a day. If you can even get that in, that'll be fantastic. Even if it's for a walk around the neighborhood a couple of times in the morning or before bed or whatever. But make sure you make it a priority to get yourself moving, to reach your health goals by making them a priority. And you will start to feel so much better when you do. And then another category that you might want to write down is spiritual and personal development. Now, this is a big category for me. Because every single day, this is a priority. I want to invest in this area of my life. Even on the days when I'm not working out, I'm not exercising, I decide to forgo that as a priority. But my spiritual development and my personal development are definitely priorities. Now, I feel like sometimes spiritual development is easier than personal development, although they are intertwined. But everyone has stuff that we need to heal. Everyone does. And so we need to look at those things and really start to become more self-aware and pay attention to the things that people say to you, even in anger or even in passing. Recognize, is there any validity to what they're saying, or are they just talking? Ask yourself before you automatically get defensive about something. Could this possibly be true, what they're saying? Or even, is there a glimmer of truth in it? And if there is, look at that within yourself. Look at it and say, how can I improve this? How can I be better? Now, I was just having this conversation over the weekend and a little bit this morning with someone I care very, very deeply about. And it had to do with childhood stuff. So the thing is that, we're not responsible for what happened to us as a child, right? We can't go back and change the past. We were raised how we were raised, and our parents were doing the best job that they could, even when it doesn't really seem that way, they were. Because all of us are doing the very best that we can in any given moment in time, okay? So we can't blame our parents for the past, but what we can do is we can seriously look at how the way that we were raised ends up affecting us today. And awareness of those patterns and awareness of those things is the very first step in healing them. So we need to sit down with ourselves and get very quiet and get very still and think about our patterns in life, our patterns in relationships, our patterns in the way that we do things. Are they healthy or are they not healthy? And if they're not as healthy as they could be, then what can we do to change those things? And some of those things might be quite difficult because they might be very, very ingrained in us, but it's something that we have to work on. Because setting a goal like that to heal some of the stuff that happened to us previously in our lives is really, once we are able to heal that stuff and meet that kind of personal development goal, it also, like a lotus, opens up our lives to more love, to more healing, to more kindness and gentleness, and to more understanding. And then we gain wisdom as a result. And therefore our lives are better. Therefore our lives really are much more filled with joy and happiness because we're working through some of these things. Interestingly enough, they say that some people really stop growing when they're in their 20s. Like they still keep getting older, but they stop growing. We don't want to be like that. We want to be people who are self-aware, who are constantly growing and constantly changing and improving in our lives, constantly developing into the very best form of ourselves. That's what we want to achieve. So think about your personal goals. I want to encourage you in this today to, get a book or, like I said, the Instagrid on your phone for your visionary pictures, or a vision board if you like. But set your goals. Set your goals in all the different areas of your life. Don't become complacent. Don't live a mediocre life because you're not willing to put in a little bit of the effort to actually write your goals down. So write them down, look at them often, keep them in front of your face, and break those goals down. If your goal is way too big, break it down into doable steps. And every single day, I want to encourage you every single day to do something, at least a little something, to work towards your goals. Have a beautiful, blessed day. Thank you so much for spending some time with me. Talk to you soon.